Hello, guys. I hope you all are doing good. Okay, let's take a look at what went down last night at Stanford Bridge. Chelsea played Bayern Leverkusen last night in a preseason friendly match. And guess who stole the show? William Estavao shines on his debut. The young Brazilian was all over the place in the game. So let's look at how Enzo Maresca lined up with the players. In goal was Philip Jorgensen. At the right back was Malo Gusto. At the center back, the two center back was George Akenpong and Trevor Chalobah. Marc Cucurella plays at the left back. In the defensive midfield role was Moses Caicedo, the midfield general, and Andres Santos. The three attacking midfield player was Tariq George playing from the left wing and Cole Palmer playing in the middle. And at the right wing was Estavao William. Up front, Enzo Maresca preferred Liam Delap to start. Chelsea started the game on a very confident note. And what I saw was actually really amazing. Chelsea were playing like they never went on a break. Even though the break was actually short, the players came back looking confident, looking fit, looking composed, and were ready to go even before the league would kick off. Chelsea were looking well prepared, like they have resumed preseason even before now. It was nice seeing the players doing what they know how to do best. And one thing I noticed, because of lack of time we are having, we don't have enough time to prepare. I saw Enzo Maresca on the sideline looking very mean, confident, and watching with keen interest. And that's just what he has to do, because Chelsea don't have the time to prepare much. So every game, be it friendly, is very important. So it wasn't about the result, whether Chelsea defeated Bayern Leverkusen. No. But it was good to see that the players came back fully fit and confident. The way they possessed the ball, the way they were pressing high. Bayern Leverkusen never actually came to the party. And one man was actually up there in the middle of the pack doing the distribution, talking about Cole Palmer. And one thing that actually struck me when I saw Chelsea line up, when I saw Cole Palmer and Estavao William starting, I knew that Enzo Maresca was about to experiment something. And he actually wanted to see the link up between Cole Palmer and Estavao William, if both players can be able to play. And trust me, the link up between Cole Palmer and Estavao William generally was good. Generally, it was good before Cole Palmer was substituted at halftime. But if you ask me, Enzo Maresca have a very good decision when it comes to player selection. When it comes to player selection, there is a lot of thinking that Enzo Maresca will definitely be doing, most especially in that right wing, because the performance of Estavao William last night in that preseason game against Bayern Leverkusen looks like Estavao William looks like he has been playing in the Premier League for some time, and it's not just joining Chelsea for the very first time. I was pleased seeing him play that way. The young talented Brazilian was all over the place. And without mixing words, like what Enzo Maresca said in his press conference, even before putting both Cole Palmer and Estavao William in the field to actually play together, he said it, that Estavao William is a very good player and he plays like Cole Palmer. And one beautiful thing I actually saw and I watched with keen interest was the connection, the link-up play between Cole Palmer and Estavao William. The understanding was excellent, like they have been playing for a couple of times together. So I want to believe it was a good match to watch. Generally, in my opinion, Chelsea played very well. The performance was good. And if you want to ask about individual players, I must say, generally they did well. Malo Gusto, as usual, decent performance. Moses Caicedo, always available to give referee some kind of assignment to make, if his tackle were actually foul or not. And that is one beautiful thing about Moses Caicedo. When he comes with his tackle, he do it tactically, and the referee will be left amazed, wouldn't even know whether it was foul or not. And that is just by the way. And Moses Caicedo, give it to him any day, any time. In that midfield position, currently, arguably the best in his position in the world football. And I must say, Moses Caicedo was outstanding. Andres Santos, wow. He's not a new player to Chelsea. He joined Chelsea last season and was loaned to Strasbourg. and haven't had a very good time with RB Strasbourg in French League One. And this time he has been integrated into the first team. But notwithstanding, what Enzo Maresca did in his formation was to see how he balanced the selection. Because in the back line, you can see that George Acheampong was just the young lad there. Experienced ones were Marc Cucurella, Trevor Chalobah, and Malo Gusto. They were just there to give Acheampong the covering which he would deserve. But generally, he had a decent performance. And one thing is important. If he can get more game time, I believe Acheampong will do very well. Okay. Also, Andrew Santos had a decent game. And talking about Tariq George also, at the left wing side, Tariq George also have a decent game. The minutes of time is spent in the field. And Cole Palmer, the magical Cole, always knowing what to do, dictating play in the middle of the park and linking up connection with Estavao William. And that was what actually created the goal. When Cole Palmer take that strike in the 18th minute and struck the bar, Estavao William was there to jab it inside the net. And that was how he scored on his debut on Stanford Bridge, to light up Stanford Bridge on his debut. Believe me, the Brazilian was everywhere, full of confidence. Doesn't look like he's playing for the first time in Stanford Bridge, and I actually love what I saw. Now, coming into the game, second half of the game, Enzo Maresca makes lots of changes. In fact, 10 players were changed. It was only the goalkeeper, Philip Jorgensen, that was not substituted in the game. And I want to believe, in as much as Chelsea have said they will not sign a goalkeeper, Chelsea are okay with the number one choice, talking about Robert Sanchez, who had a very wonderful performance in the Club World Cup, and also Philip Jorgensen, that made some couple of good saves yesterday. And trust me, in our next friendly match against AC Milan, still in Stamford Bridge, I believe Robert Sanchez will be in between the stick. So, in the second half of the game, Chelsea made 10 changes. Cole Palmer was out. All the players were substituted. But I don't know if you notice the atmosphere at Stamford Bridge. Stamford Bridge was taking a gawk when Rhys James, the team captain, was warming up on the sideline to come into the game. I mean, the love, the euphoria and the atmosphere was amazing. It shows that Rhys James is really being loved at the club. And what the fans were chanting is one of us. And indeed, Rhys James has actually planted himself in the heart of so many Chelsea fans. And it was good to see the love that was shown to him. And he came into the game when Malo Gusto was substituted. It was indeed an atmosphere that Chelsea fans always love to see. A lot of people might argue it was a friendly, but it was good seeing the players looking sharp, looking ready to go. The Premier League kicks off next week, and Chelsea don't have that array of time to actually begin to do lots of experiments. So every player was looking very good and up and going. So I believe Chelsea are ready to go in next season. And also, Liam Delap have a decent game and was substituted in the 64th minute where Joao Pedro actually came in. And trust me, Joao Pedro is one player that have had an instant hit when it comes to new signings, and he never actually failed again. He scored again in his Stanford Bridge debut in that friendly match against Bayern Leverkusen. So it was nice seeing Joao Pedro doing what he knows how to do. And from the look of things, Joao Pedro looks more of a natural finisher than as a winger, and that is what Chelsea is actually looking for all of their players. Believe me, what I noticed again in that game was massive. It was really massive when Jimmy Gittins came in. Though short time he had, his impact was felt. Even though Premier League defenders, they have to be very careful with Jimmy Gittins. If defense lines are very choke, I mean deep-seated block, bring in Gittins. He knows how to dismantle such defense line, and that was actually noticed in his play yesterday. In that close space, you can see how he dribbled his way past a couple of defenders, and that was actually good to see. Believe me, so far the signings Chelsea have actually made, they all had a very good impact yesterday. Talking about also Jorel Ato and also a couple of players that makes their debut. It was nice seeing some academy boys, Genesis Antwi. Those players it was good seeing them. All they just need is playing time to be part of the team. But generally, if I must give my assessment, Enzo Maresca have a lot of work to do in his hand because Estavao William has actually come and he doesn't want to sit on the bench. That is the message from Estavao. He has come to be part of the first team, and Joao Pedro Neto have to be up and doing when it comes to that right wing. And one thing I will say again, which Enzo Maresca says, that Estavao plays like Cole Palmer. And that was actually noticed when you take a look at the heat map of Cole Palmer and Estavao. The players, both Estavao and Cole Palmer, looking at the heat map, it shows all what Cole Palmer was doing was just exactly the same thing Estavao was doing. The heat map shows all of that, and I want to believe Cole Palmer now have someone that can always substitute him if both of them didn't start a match together. But believe me, it's fun seeing that there is someone that plays like Cole Palmer. Okay, now in the post-match conference, I was happy to hear Enzo Maresca actually said that he will need a centre-back and it's a priority. I think for the manager to have said that, the Chelsea board should actually take this into consideration. Credit to the Chelsea board, who have actually been very active in this transfer window. I know a couple of signings are still to be made. Pretty soon, we're going to see maybe Alejandro Garnacho and Xavi Simons joining. But in as much as Enzo Maresca has said he needs a centre-back, in fact, a centre-back is a priority to replace injured Leverkusen. It's a good thing, and the club management should actually take that very serious. And I want to say here that generally, even though it was a friendly match we played last night, what I saw in Chelsea actually means we have a team, and Chelsea is a force to actually look up to. Big ups to all the teams. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you in my next video. Bye.